Sakura, the national flower of Japan, something which blooms for a few weeks per year before withering away until the following year. Very much an analogy for the Japanese EV industry then. However, is this car the second spring for EVs in Japan? Welcome to Tokyo, Japan, and welcome to the Fully Charged Show.
The Fully Charged Show is generating positive energy with its live events all around the world. Next up, it's Fully Charged Live Canada. Click the top right of the screen to get your tickets today.
Nissan really are a bit of an outlier in the EV space in Japan. They were one of the first with the Leaf, and it was a global bestseller for a number of years. And it's so successful, it's still on sale today. So what they've done is taken that winning formula and packed it into an even tighter space. In fact, into K-car size space in what I call a mini area. And this already has been a massive sales success. They sold 23,000 of these in just a couple of months after it was released. And that is more than the total EV sales in Japan the previous year. They've already got a hit on their hands, but I want to find out, how good is it really? Chinese mini EVs are a bit of an unknown quantity outside of China. Whilst there's a lot of people who say they want one, but you know, a lot of people won't want it because perhaps they're worried about safety concerns or repairability or anything else. There's a number of concerns people have about those Chinese smaller EVs. But with something like this, the Sakura from Nissan, Nissan's already a global brand. They have a good reputation everywhere. And so with a car like the Sakura, I think they'll have a smash hit on their hands. Already, we're only a few minutes driving the Sakura, but it's outstanding. Now with this being from Nissan, it's got their updated design language and it does look like an Ariya from the front. Now coming around the side, they've got these really interesting wheels. As you'll notice, all the wheels are pushed right out to the exterior of the car, literally just leaving this space. That's good, leaves more space for the 4 adult occupants on the inside. Now, these wheels are modelled on something called the Mizuhiki knot, a traditional knot that's used to seal envelopes in Japan. And I like it when automakers bring some of their own cultural personality, like BYD, into their cars and into their car design. So the front is obviously very small, but when you get to the side, these doors, these are normal sized doors, and ingress and egress is very easy. It's low down, so you can just slide in and slide out. And again, the back passengers have that same amount of space. Loads of room to get in and out and proper sized doors. And then it shrinks down again right at the end, and all you've got here is your charger. So you've got slow charging and you've got fast charging. The only compromise I think this car has made is this is your boot. Your boot is 107 litres, which is minuscule. Now, one thing I do want to talk about is the battery underneath this car. So it has a 20 kilowatt hour battery. Again, nice and small, not overly large. But this also comes with V to L. So again, responding to the environment here in Japan, like the Toyota C Plus Pod, this will power your home for up to a day if you plug it in, because often there's earthquakes or other natural disasters, and so you might lose power in places like rural Japan. And so Japanese customers want that convenience and that safety of having that in this car. Now, it's not often that I'm lost for words when sitting on the interior of a car, but this is probably one of the most comfortable seats I've ever sat in. It's this sofa bench seat, which goes all the way across. And in fact, one of my colleagues was telling me that when you buy a Nissan like this, you buy it for the sofa and then you get the car included for free. And I have to say, I do agree with that because this is so plush. I even get a proper armrest so I can sit here like a boss driving around my EV K-car. Now, there's a couple of screens here, a 7-inch and a 9-inch screen. It's got Apple Play on here, lots of buttons and knobs up here. The only issue is it has capacitive touch buttons down here for your air conditioning controls. Not a big fan of these, but they do work quite well in the Sakura. I've got my knob here to select drive modes, but most interestingly, for a car which costs about $16,000 is the fit and finish and the kind of quality materials they've used. They've got this Aria brown, where the Aria concept car came from, kind of surrounding here, kind of a metallic-y feel, and with a cloth part on top. So it feels very premium in a much cheaper than premium car. They've really packed everything that's important into here and forgotten about the faffy bits that you don't really need. Really good interior from Nissan. The Sakura, one of my favourites so far, I think.
Please support our Stop Burning Stuff Patreon and help us to tackle misinformation about electric vehicles and clean energy.
The steering wheel is adjustable up and down. I've put it in the down position as per my boss mode. And it's actually a really good size, and driving around these small corners, it's kind of perfect for city streets. Now what I've heard is demand for this car has been absolutely wild. So when they announced the car, it sold something like 20,000 units within a couple of months. And that's the entire EV sales of the previous year in a couple of months with one car in Japan. So I think Nissan have really kind of hit the nail on the head with this, because they've managed to package the Leaf, maybe the Aria, some of the Aria styling certainly, into what is a fantastic all-round package and for a great price. Why would you not buy one of these in Japan? It doesn't make sense to me. And one thing I do want to say is more cars should have cloth seats. Cloth seats are fantastic. These are like really squidgy and just lovely feeling. It's quite a warm day today, it's about 25 degrees. A leather seat, I'd be sticking to it. It'd be a bit uncomfortable really, but this, very, very comfortable like this. It really feels very much like a SUV in the back here, because you've got so much space around you. Like, there's proper amounts of headroom. And again, I've got that sofa experience in the back as well. Not quite as supportive. There's no bolsters at the back, so that's a bit of a letdown, but it still feels very comfortable. And as you can see, this is set up for me, and I'm not struggling for space in here. I've got a few little features in here. There's no USB ports. I've got a cup holder in the door, which is great, my window switch, and that really is it. Now you can get ISOFIX from both these sides, so you could get two child seats in here, and I've got an adjustable headrest as well. Very featureless, in fact, but that's fine really. You don't need screens and all the latest tech in the back of one of these. I'd say the only other compromise is my legs are slightly high, so I think more than 150 kilometers they might start aching, but overall not really anything to complain about. And I just like how this cabin has been finished. It's a really kind of nice mix of high quality materials to give it a much more premium feel. I think what we've taken for granted over the past few years is that the Chinese automakers, it's inevitable that they're going to take over in the EV space, and especially in the EV small car space. However, I don't think so with this car. If Nissan can bring this to a more global market, they are surefire to have a winning formula on their hands, because this is such a competent car that's well built and has a great brand attached to it already. The Nissan company, Nissan Leaf, are one of the early adopters of EV powertrains, even before Tesla. So they definitely know what they're doing, and that's what I think could stand them in good stead with a car like this in the future. It's only time will tell if they can produce enough of these or if they start shipping them overseas. My recommendation would be yes, do that. One other slight negative I would have about this car is that A-pillars are massive, and they really kind of obstruct my view through here, which is what A-pillars do. But they're quite chunky, and I'm trying to follow our camera car, and I keep losing him in the A-pillar. It's a little bit difficult. Small complaint, but a complaint nonetheless. I think with the Sakura, it really shows a new confidence in Nissan, from Nissan, and it shows the direction they want to go in. And I think a lot of other manufacturers could take a leaf out of the Sakura's book and enjoy their own spring and their own blossoming of an EV for their own company. So the question is, will this come overseas? We don't know, but I think it would be a great success if it did. So Nissan, it's over to you.